Hi, welcome to the 12-week Next Level Shear Performance Program. It's Matt Luxon here. Just wanted to take you through this little intro video to help you gain a better understanding into what we're going to be up to in the next 12 weeks, helping you to build some solid foundations upon which you can build a better shearing career. So Matt Smith and I, just give you a little intro. We've been working together since 2016. No, before that, obviously, that was when we worked together for his world record initially at Frank in July 2016. But we started working together in 2015 in preparation for that. And since the record, we've then gone on to obviously help multiple world record holders, national record holders, golden shears champions, and multiple other shed shearers who want to shear better, shear cleaner, shear more numbers and more efficiently, and with less pain. So that's what we've been working on, and what we want to do really is through this 12-week program is give you an insight into where you can make the most benefit, most gains, and gain the most benefit from some of the small tweaks that we're going to help you with. Okay. Now, ultimately, this is all about giving yourself permission to succeed. So you need to do that. We need to give yourself time, space, and effort to put into the areas that maybe we haven't done before. Okay, and that's the same for any goal that you want to achieve. Ultimately, it comes down to those things. We can have all the skill in the world, but if we're not allowing ourselves the time and the space to put in the effort we need, then we're not going to reach our maximum potential. So that's what we're all about here in the Shear Performance Programs. That's what we want to do. We'll help you maximize your potential and go as far as you want to. Obviously, within the group, we have standards that we want to hold each other to, and they'll have a direct correlation within the results that we get. Obviously, within that, we've got the kind of this idea that there's no point in us chasing that last 5% when we haven't really nailed the first 95. So, building a solid building, on solid foundations is what we're about. And then once we get to the top, just putting that chimney lid on, making those little light tweaks, putting those nice little touches to the windows, those sort of things. That's what we're dealing with here with the last 5%. So we really want to be helping you understand the basics, and then once you get the basics, then helping you with some of the finer points, which we're going to do to help you take things to another level. Now, this is not about us hoping that you get results. We've worked with so many shearers now. And I've worked with so many general public members, general members of the public, and athletes as well, from beginner level right the way through to Olympic level. And none of this comes about by hoping. Okay, we don't hope for a result. We plan it out. We meticulously plan it out. We plan it out in a way that we believe facilitates success, and that's what we want to expose you to here. Okay, so obviously we're planning. You need to plan, and you need to put into place those things as well, so that we can help you. And ultimately, we can't manage what we don't measure. Okay, now I'm sure you can think of a million things, ways that you could use that analogy, but ultimately we can't manage what we don't measure, and we want to make sure that you understand how you can see some of the changeable differences. We're going to have you analyze your own movement pattern. We're going to analyze your own movement pattern. You're going to have your own shearing pattern analysed. We're going to do fitness tests that are going to help you to see where your strengths and weaknesses are during this program. Okay, so we need you to sort of buy into that idea. What we're going to be covering today in this little presentation, we're going to talk about the shear performance pyramid. Okay, in which we talk about competency, capacity, and complexity. Okay, so those three things. We're going to talk about the first 3 weeks. We're going to talk about movement analysis, communication, our weekly Q&A, and our first week's objectives. Okay. So the shear performance pyramid, really, what we're looking at here, this, I guess, is a graphical illustration of potentially your journey through the 12-week program. So from the base, where it says movement, up through to skill. So if you imagine that during weeks 1 to 12, we're always going to be concerned and working on your movement. Okay, so weeks 1 to 12, we're always going to be trying to improve movement. We're going to try and improve competency of movement. Okay, so your ability to move well. Okay. Between weeks 3 and 12, that's where we really start to focus more and progressively on performance. Okay, so we're looking at capacity, your ability to perform work, and develop your work capacity, because we know that in order for you to improve on the skill element that we want to work on between weeks 7 and 12, in this instance shearing, that we really know that complexity can only really be achieved when you have a solid level of fitness, so that you can absorb the information, for one, so that we don't have that central fatigue that we get when we're tired and we can't take on board new information. But equally as well, so that we can actually be in the positions we want to be in to make those to make those positions a lot easier as well. So, and the ability to get those those shots in where they should be. Okay, so weeks 1 to 12, we're going to be looking at movement the whole way through. Weeks 3 to 12, we're looking at performance and we're looking on work capacity. Week 7 to 12, the emphasis really is on the skill and the complexity and working on those as well. Okay, where you'll be given feedback and then we start developing and you can start working on that. So weeks 1 to 3, as I've already alluded to, movement competency, okay? So we're getting a baseline set of information about you during this period. We're understanding more about your strengths and weaknesses than you will. Developing mobility and stability in the areas you need to, okay? We're also then going to look at nutritional foundations. So within the nutritional foundations, we have the 9 basic habits that I think are really important for you to understand and then go away and implement in terms of your own health, your own nutrition, okay, your lifestyle, your diet. Like some people say, I don't really have a diet, like my diet's really bad. Well, anything you eat is your diet. So what we need to look at here is, okay, so like we're looking at this differently. So there's not a restrictive nature around this. This is about fueling your body for performance, okay, and ultimately putting in what you need to get out, okay, so you don't put diesel in a Ferrari, okay. So that's the way we need to look at this. And we'll also look at different ways of keeping a food diary so that we can help you and keep you accountable to that as well, okay. The weekly Q&A, that time on there may well vary, so just ignore that specifically, okay. That we popped in the group, okay, for you to pay attention to. The link will be in there for you, so it's nice and easy. You just go in there and log in at the time we're going to do it. And my suggestion on that really is that you come with your questions or send them in the comment section of the reminder or in the email, and I'll give you my email address in a bit for you to basically make sure that each week we are keeping up with the questions that you've got. So in terms of the movement analysis, where are we going with this? So ultimately, we've got three parts to this. The first bit, we want to really understand a bit more about where you are limited and where you aren't, and what range of movement you've got at different joints, and the extensibility of the muscle tissues and the flexibility of your muscles that you've got. Okay. Secondly, what we're going to look then to do really is to focus on the motor control, so stability. Okay. So basic strength, postural integrity, coordination, timing, and then the sequencing of those segments as well. So being able to put multiple joint movements together without it falling apart because one element doesn't follow from the other. Okay. I think what we look at here in terms of motor control and stability for you as a person is it's not more but better. Okay, that's what we're looking at. We're focusing on here. So I'm well aware within the shearing industry that many of you will have an awesome ability to just grind out work. Now that's great, but in this instance, when we're trying to improve movement, more of the wrong thing just reinforces the wrong pattern. Okay, so what we're going to try and do is focus on doing things better. Okay, that leads us into movement part 3, which is movement patterns. So reinforce this with repetitions and load. Okay, so movement patterns are ultimately what we're able to build and generate and improve load upon. Okay, so if you want to improve the way your strength, your performance, okay, it has to be done with a good movement pattern to start with, and then we reinforce it with repetition and load. Okay, all of the details for this now we've got in the Training Peak section, which you'll be part of, okay, as a member of the Shear Performance Program, and you'll be taken through how to do the analysis and send it in to us. Okay. Now, in terms of communication, big one for us. Like, I'm massive on communication and the way that we try to do it. One of the things I've got is boundaries. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have clear boundaries on how we communicate so that these things get answered in a timely fashion. Okay. So please ask questions. We don't want to wait until week 3 to answer a question that you had in week 1. Absolutely not. Personal questions, absolutely no one else will benefit from the answer. You can email them to me, okay, on the email address there. All other questions just pop in the Facebook group so that everyone else can benefit from the answers. That's the way I like to do things, okay? Obviously, if it's strictly confidential, I've got no problem with that and answering it in that fashion via email. But otherwise, let's make sure that everyone benefits from the questions that we've got, okay? And we'll give you the WhatsApp details to contact on rather than Facebook Messenger because we don't use that. Weekly Q&A. So we'll be doing that via the Zoom calls. Okay, so please bring your questions. After all, these are Q&A sessions, so if we don't have any questions, we can't really help you in any other way. Obviously, we can talk you through what's going to be happening in the next week, but really it's there to help you. The link for that weekly call is going to be in your Training Peaks, okay? So you don't need to look anywhere else for that. We will also put reminders in the Facebook group for you. And every week for the 12-week program, we will be doing one of these calls, okay? So this week's objectives, this first week, it's all about setting out those foundations we mentioned. So we're going to go through the nutrition. You'll have that document ready to go. I'm going to talk you through the 9 key habits, and then you're going to download that and read it and make any notes and ask any questions you've got at the end of week 1 or during week 1, okay? Movement analysis. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm actually going to change that, and I'm actually going to ask you to WhatsApp it to me. So I'll be putting those details in the group for you so that you have them, because we find the videos actually send better via WhatsApp than they do on an email, because they tend to be too large. So something we've changed. And then complete the 4 sessions in the program for this week. Okay, so simple as that. Nice and simple this week. Nothing too stressful. And then obviously we've got the questions section as well. So any questions you've got, please do fire them over. Otherwise, let's just get cracking with the program. All right. And Matt and I will be looking forward to helping you and taking you forwards. Anything we can help you with, please ask questions. And we'll be really happy to make sure that those are answered for you. Okay. Take care.